Welcome to my channel. My name is Terry and I'm a cash staffer from Botswana. So today I'll be doing a budgeting video, budget with me. This is my first time, so I'm a bit nervous, but here goes. So basically a budget is a plan for your money. But let me just put this out there. I'm not a financial advisor whatsoever. I'm just a village girl who found a way to budget that works. It's a simple budget for me, a simple budgeting method for me. There are many methods out there. So what I've learned about budgeting is that, I'm sorry about my voice. It's very early in the morning. I've always done a budget. I've never not done a budget. I just think I just never saw it through. I would do a budget, put it to the side, and then the following month again, I'd do a budget. I had enough money left over on paper, but somehow the money just wasn't enough. That's why I never really had faith in a budget, in my ability to do a budget, until I came across the cash stuffing method. So I'm the kind of person who wants everything to have a place. Like in my house, in my life, things that I do, I just want everything to have its own place. That's why when I came across the system, I thought, wow, this is exactly what I need. I don't know why I didn't come across this earlier, but I'm grateful that I did. And it's really worked for me. So I use the zero-based budget, which is basically assigning every pula, every tebe, a job, giving it a name, so to speak. And that worked perfectly for me, because what I found in the past is that because I had floating money and because I had money on paper from my budget, there was money left over. I always, I think, made bad choices, I think. Because in your mind, if you've got 5,000 pula left, or 3,000 pula, or 1,000 pula left, even when you use the first 20 pula, the first 100 pula, in your mind, you still have 5. Or in my mind, if I had 3,000 pula left, because that's how much I had mostly from my budget. Every month, I would think I've got 3,000. Even after finishing the first 1,000, I would, in my mind, use money as if I've still got that 3,000. And that's why this system has worked for me, because it highlighted the fact that, yes, it's 3,000, but when you start allocating every single tebe a job, every time you use 100 pula, it's highlighted because the money is there in the envelope, and you took out the 100 pula from the 300 pula that you had. Suddenly you don't have 300 pula, and in my brain, I know that the money is less, so I use it wisely. That's just how this has worked for me, like I said. So let me just stop rambling. And so I'm doing my October budget. I'm doing it a bit late. Today's I think the 4th. I think it's the 4th. I'm doing it late because it was a holiday this past weekend, so I was traveling and everything. So I just made this for myself. So let me just show you the spread first. So this is kind of a spread that I use every month. I also made this myself. So basically I write down all my bills on this spread. Monthly overview, bird's eye view, where ke bona sengwe le sengwe madi mangwe le mangwe ke a go a dirisa mo kgweding. So these are the bills, because my husband gets paid on the 25th. And just a little info. We are a one-income household. Even though I have a little bit that I bring in, it's just a little bit, and it's inconsistent because I'm self-employed. So I plan with my husband's money for the whole month, and then the money that I bring in goes to sinking funds and savings challenges. And these past 2 months I've bought almost very little in. So okay, so this is my spread, like I said, and I just write down the dates when I know that I'll need money. first there's the rent and all of these. And the important thing, I think, that was significant for me was knowing when what comes out. Because when you start budgeting, the first thing you do is you track your spending. And when you're tracking your spending, you also track your money. That's one of the biggest lessons that I learned is tracking your money and knowing where every tebe is. So you're kind of more alert. I became more alert of what's going on with the bank account than I was before. For example, I never realized that FNB took its money on the 21st. I just always thought FNB in Jalamite. But you know, when you start doing this, you start being conscious of things like this. Like I realized FNB takes its money on the 21st because I've got two accounts. Then the other one takes its money on the 10th. So on this day, I make sure I've got money in my account. Therefore, I avoid account damimo zero. My account is on negative, in the negative, because I'm more vigilant of what's going on with the money. Let me just go through it quickly. This is the rent and all the other bills that I have coming on this date. Then I've got insurance that's coming on the 28th. The other one is on the 30th. And then my son's Wi-Fi. And then I've got Canva and I've got Netflix, Apple Music. I've just got this key here where I use the highlighting method also to kind of see my expenses during the month. Mostly I keep an eye on the unbudgeted, on these ones. Last month in September, I didn't have a budget for takeaways, so that was unbudgeted. Spending is the money that we spend, that I allocate for spending. I actually should have put, this is actually an unbudgeted expense. So I should have highlighted this in yellow. My mistake. I'll just put a star there. So I just write unbudgeted. It's an unexpected expense, but that's a story for another day. So I hope this is clear. Then I've got pink. These are all reminders. We were traveling home on the 29th. And then I've got this bridal shower on the 14th. And then this is when I do my cash stuffings. My weekly cash stuffings, because my husband gets paid monthly. And I just split the money for every week. After I pay bills and everything, the money that I've allocated to my everyday spending, I cash stuff every week. I'm all over the place. I hope you guys can understand what I'm trying to say and what I'm doing here. And I've already, my variable expenses that are in my budget, I've already spent, because like I said, today's the 4th. Oh, today's the 5th, actually. What's today? Yes, today's the 5th. So I've already started spending the money. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. So back to my budget. I'll just take this out. I made this little sheet for myself because I actually want that little compact planner, but I couldn't find it in Botswana, and getting it, the nearest place I could have gotten it is South Africa. I like the Noma's Diary one, but it's so expensive to get it over here. And I could have bought the printable, but then it's the same thing as just an A4, but I want something smaller. So I'll get there. I've got a little sinking fund for a planner, so I will buy it eventually. So the income that I'm working with this month is this is the money that I budget every month. The money that I budget, it's not the same every month because sometimes I don't bring in anything because like I said, I'm self-employed. But this is how much I'm working with this month. And I'll just write out my bills real quick. Okay, so um my rent is 5,000, and then the insurance is 610. FSG is 569. This, and then the DSTV is 685. This is kind of not negotiable. My husband and his football. Utilities is 700. Subscriptions are 430. That's my Canva, Netflix, and Apple Music. And then the bank charges, I just budget 370 every month, just in case that month the charges are a bit higher than I expected. So I'm just gonna add these up really quickly. I can't write on a straight pad, so you'll have to excuse me, guys. 8,364. That's the total. So the way I do it, the way I execute my zero-based budget, when I get to this amount, I take it away from the 24,000, because then this way I kind of feel like, I don't know, I like it this way. It makes me feel like now for these ones, I'm budgeting this much. Like I said, in my brain, before I started this system, if I'm budgeting, I've got this 24,000 in my head, and then the decisions I make will be based on this amount. But I found that doing it this way, now the budget for all of these, I use this amount now to budget for this, and then the remainder that I've got here to budget for this one, and so on and so on. That's kind of how my brain works. So like I said, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just doing what works for me. And then from here, I will do my variable expenses. Let me just explain this real quick. My projected is what the plan that I have, because I realized with me, things change during the month, you know, Rabatswana. Things always come up, and budgeted stuff always comes up. So I have a projected and the actual budget. But even in the end, even after the actual budget, when the money comes in, even after this, I will still have something come up. So my actual, sometimes when I do my budget check-in, there are some amounts that will be different because of things that just come up. But when you have a plan, you also make the decisions based on, I would make decisions based on my budget, unlike before. So let me just write out my variable expenses. Okay, so these are my variable expenses. So the health is, me and my husband are on prescription meds. So I budget 200 pula. It's basically, we spend, both of us, around 70 pula, and then I leave the 130, you know, in case somebody gets sick and or you need to buy some sort of medication. And then church is 100 pula. And this is just church offerings on Sunday. And then petrol, 400 pula. This is petrol is just for me. I just allocate 100 pula every week because I work from home. And then if I do need to go somewhere, if it's business expenses, the business takes care of my petrol. And then car wash is 260. And this is for me and my husband. We just get 2 washes because my husband's car is 70 pula, mine is 60 pula, that's 130. So I allocate just 2 washes to each of us because we like washing our cars at home. Sometimes we don't even take our cars to the car wash. I just like to have the money there because we live in a village. You take your car to the car wash, and then by the time it gets home, it's dusty again. It's dirty on the outside, at least. So we take our cars to the car wash mostly when we need it to be vacuumed inside, but otherwise we just wash it at home. We kind of enjoy. I wash the inside and he'll wash the outside, and it's just like a fun thing that we do. Anyway, and then airtime. Airtime is 600 pula, and airtime is just for I know it looks like a lot, but it's not for me alone. It's for me. It's for me, for my boys, my mother-in-law, and my uncle-in-law. My husband takes care of his airtime as well. So that's why it's 600 for the specially end of the month. It helps. And then essentials. Now essentials, family, hubby, and kids. I've got a lot of binders. As you guys have seen, if you haven't seen, you'll see with my cash stuffing. I've got a lot of binders. So what I've done is because I can't put everything in here, I've called my binders. I've given them a name. So I've got a binder for my essentials, a family binder. My husband's he's got his own binder, and the kids as well. The kids don't have their binder, but okay, these three I've called them with their binder. So I've just let me just show you real quick. This is my essentials binder, and then I just have these little trackers that I have. So I put here how much I'm going to stuff in each envelope, and this is the amount that I put in the budget. Actually, it's the 5th, and I haven't done my cash stuffing yet, but where I needed to use the money, I've used it already, and I keep updating. This is how much I stuff. I budget every month for this, but since the month is already the 5th, I've already started using this money. So the money that I've already used, I've just updated. So essentials here, the budget is 450, and then family, and so on and so on. I hope that makes sense. And then family, I'm budgeting 700. That's for my family binder. And then my husband's budget is 2,370. He saw this and he was like, "Is this how much I use in a month?" And I was like, "Yes, sir. This is how much you use in a month." He was very surprised. He was very surprised because he's the saver. I'm the spender, but he's the saver. Okay. I'm gonna add this money up quick. $6,580. Okay, remember I was budgeting for this amount here, so I'm going to, I hope this is clear. And my balance here is so now when I budget for my envelopes, I'm going to be using this amount. So that's why I found that doing my budget this way was just perfect for me. It makes it so much easier. I can't emphasize this enough. So let me just write down my cash envelopes quickly. Okay, so these are my cash envelopes. Now this is the money that I keep in my wallet. This is the money that I carry with me everywhere. So my budget for groceries is 2,600. It's actually been 2.5 all these months, but last month I went overboard. So I just added 100 pula to see if I can stick to it this month, because things are so expensive. So what happens is with this 2,600, I split it into two. There's what I buy at the end of the month. I use like 1,400 The remainder, which is 1,200, I split into 4, and then that's the add-ons. That's the money that I stuff into my wallet every week. So I found that this way works better for me. I just buy the staples, palichi, mabel, and all of that, the big things, and then the 1.2, I split 300 pula into my wallet every week, and then this way our money lasts the whole month. I'm more in control of how much money I use. I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, and then meat, I budget 1.5, and the reason I have I've split groceries and meat is because meat is expensive. I buy meat from a different place, from Dibuchara, and I just thought this way I can control how much money I spend on meat. I don't know, it works for me, won't work for everyone. And then takeaways, I'm only budgeting 200 because I don't eat from takeaways, and I don't eat out. The only eating out that I do, I buy from these ladies because there's no point me going to Nando's and then asking them not to put their sauce on the meat. Doesn't make sense. So why bother in the first place? So that's why I don't eat out, because unless maybe there's a restaurant out there where they just do Tswana cuisine, then I would go out there to eat. And then household is 200 just for stuff around the house. Kindness is also 200. And then miscellaneous is 100. And then me is 400. 100 pula per week. So let me just add this up. And then 5,200. So I take that away from, and then my balance here is 3,856. Yo, the money's going down. Now the decisions that I will make for these two will be based on this. So I've got a debt with Lewis. This actually isn't mine. I kind of inherited this, but you know, that's a whole story on its own. And then Motelo also. So I took money from the Motelo. I think it wasn't really the best decision. I got this money in January, and because it's just a group of ladies who've come together, I'm kind of forced to take the money, and I'm just starting to pay for it now because there's no interest. It's just my mother-in-law recruited me into this Motelo, and you know, it's just a group of ladies. Like, she's 70, and it's a group of her peers, and they just come together, cook food every month. It's just like a social little club for them, and she invited me, and I don't know, they've become friends. It's more a friend group more than it is about making money. So it's really, really nice. So the total here is 1,900 pula. Okay, so 3,856 minus 1,900. So my balance here is 1,956. So that's the money that's going into my savings and sinking funds. So what I do is, let me just write this. Savings challenges, and that mostly I fund with the income that I bring in, but I just have a lump sum of savings that I also do. Mostly it's my Christmas savings, and my I'm doing the snowball effect savings, so this money is just for that. But what I do is I allocate money to these first, and then whatever the balance is from this is where I put into savings. That's just how I do it. So my high priorities get 430. Like I said, again, this is from my binders. I've got a high priority binder, so this is how much I budget for it every month. And then 300 pula, but obviously if I get any income, my income will put more into this. So what I do is I do it like this, and then I take away from this 1956, I take away 430, and then I take away 300, and 1226 is what I'll put into my snowball and my Christmas challenges. So that's kind of how I do my budget. And then add 430, and then add 300, that's 1956, and then I take that away, this 1956, and I take away this 1956 for a zero-based budget. So that's kind of how I do my budget, my zero-based budget. It's not like you're budgeting until you have no money. It's just that even the money that you leave in your account, you've budgeted for. Like this money here is money that's in the bank. It's money that I don't handle. I don't touch this money. It's in the bank. It goes where it's supposed to go, because my husband just transfers money into my account, and then I add it with whatever I've got, and then I allocate the money accordingly. So that's kind of how this works. I'll swipe DSTV, or I just do it online depending on the network on that day, and then these obviously don't come out because they come straight from the account, and these two I don't touch at all. Rent I just transfer to the landlord, and then insurance also doesn't come out. It comes out straight from the bank. But I wanted to track this because you'll find that sometimes the insurance, or at least in my case, sometimes they just don't take the money. So I have to be, I have to keep an eye on this so that I'm sure that they take the money that they're supposed to take in that month. That's just how I do it. So that's my budget, guys. I hope it's clear. I hope it makes sense. I hope somebody has learned something from it. So my total expenses are 8,364 plus 6,580, 5,200. I hope I'm doing this right. 1,900, 1956. Yep. So my total expenses are 24,000, and I've got nothing left. So I hope that's clear, guys. Please comment down below and let me know what you think. Let me know what you don't understand. I hope somebody found value in this video. Please comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you for watching. Bye.